Yes, I am a little nervous, but thanks. Hopefully this will be good, worth your while. My name is Cody Trestrail. I'm with the training group Brothers in Battle. I also work for Portland Fire. Work Engine 31 C shift, kill. Had to get that in. Before I came to Portland Fire, I worked for the New York City Fire Department. Got to spend a little bit of time in Brooklyn working Squad 1 and Ladder 119. So that's a little bit about my past. We're going to get right into this. Something that I'm passionate about, something that I believe there are 3 guiding principles for the fire service that somehow have been lost in time, and hopefully we can get back to those 3 guiding principles. What I'm talking about is the mission, them, and me. And some of you may have heard this, very similar, these 3 M's. It's a guiding principle that Pete Blabber, who is a Delta Force commander, uses in leadership, and it's the 3 M's of leadership, and it's the mission, the men, and me. And so I love that concept. I love how that applies to life, everyday life, and success in life. But I thought about it a little bit more. I was like, how does that directly apply to the fire service and to our principles? And so what I did was I just took those 3 M's and I flipped the men to them. And I think it reflects perfectly what our guiding principles are and the foundation should be. And then that becomes the mission, them, and me. And I believe that they're all interconnected, right? If we neglect any one of those 3, then the whole thing falls apart. So that's kind of what we're going to explore here today. Let's move through this. So let's start with the mission. What is the mission? It's simple. It's why you're doing what you're doing, and you use it to guide all of your decisions. Pretty simple. What's the fire service's mission? Okay? I think we've all heard some form or variation, but just to put it simple, it's to protect life, property, and the environment. The thing that I think has been forgotten is life aspect, all right? They always come first. And somehow we've reached a period of time in the fire service, in our culture, where we're having people put pressure on us and are telling us, the firefighter, that we are first and that our safety is first. And I couldn't disagree more with that concept. So let's explore this a little bit more. All right, here's a mission statement from my organization, Portland Fire, that I love. All right, it's one of the only mission statements that I'm aware of out there that actually has the word aggressively in it. The mission of Portland Fire and Rescue is to aggressively and safely protect life and property and the environment. Okay, and every one of your organizations probably has a mission statement, something similar. The question is, do you know what your mission statement is? Are you and your organization moving towards a direction to meet those expectations? And not only just that, but the expectations that our civilians, the people that we are sworn to protect, are we meeting their expectations? Right? Staying even within the mission statement as an example, my own training group, Brothers in Battle, has a mission statement, which is simple. Our mission is to honor those that have gave all, and those of you that continue to give all by being here doing just what you're doing, by pursuing the skill, practice, and trade of firefighting and sharing it with others, which is what we're doing. And that's our mission in Brothers in Battle. Hopefully we're doing that. All right, now let's get away from the mission now. Let's talk about them, which you're gonna see kind of comes full circle. The mission is them, right? So, in 2013, U.S. fire departments responded to an estimated 1,240,000 fires. These fires resulted in 3,240 civilian fire fatalities and 15,925 civilian fire injuries. There was a civilian fire death every 2 hours and 42 minutes. And an injury every 33 minutes. When you break that down into the residential setting, That's 85% of fire deaths are happening in the residential setting. to me, that number is pretty astronomical, right? So it comes back to them. It's always about them. Does your training, do your tactics, and do your words even reflect them? Let's take a look a little bit more here. This is a great quote by somebody that I respect tremendously, Chief Lombardo from Buffalo Fire. It says, "The hallmark of a good fire department is an aggressive and thorough search. Most departments mention somewhere in their mission statements the tenet to save life and property. In reality, saving life is really what we are here for." I couldn't agree more. Spot on. Love it. So here's a question then. If we can change our search techniques at residential structure fires, would we be able to save more lives? And for me, the answer is simple. I say yes, and the technique is vent enter search. You don't believe me? Who am I? Here's Tom Brennan, and I'm going to encourage you, if you don't know the name Tom Brennan, you should make it your business to know that name by this time tomorrow and what he's about and what he's done for the fire service. All right? Or shame on you. You need to know who Tom Brennan is. We need to try to reach any victims from inside the structure and from an opening to every room in which humans can survive from the outside by VES or whatever means possible. That's truth. To me, it's not coming from anybody more respected. Has got a better understanding of how to save life and what the importance is of that. Here's another quote from another mentor of mine that I respect and look up to. VES is a tremendous way to put firefighters where the victims may be, especially at night. I'm talking a lot about this, but my buddy Brian, fellow brothers in battle, he's going to be speaking later about a lot of the statistics backing this up. Why? Where are we finding victims? All right? Let's get a little crazy now. VES, because it's this big, scary, dangerous thing. I want to encourage you guys to think outside the box a little bit. Let's talk VES outside the box and beyond the door. Ask yourselves these questions, and within your own department, your organization. Have you trained, or are you prepared for, what if there is no door to isolate? What if you can't get it closed? We're all dealing with hoarder conditions. What if you have to VES a window above fire? Okay, what if by chance you got to that door, you closed it, you searched, but conditions were favorable, and God forbid you could continue that search beyond the door instead of coming back out and moving over? I know it's crazy talk. All right? But what I want to encourage you to do is not put a dynamic tactic into a box, because when you do so, you're not putting them first. You're putting you first. And you're missing the whole purpose of our mission. Okay? Let's head down another rabbit hole. Search profiling versus survivability profiling. My question is, can we save more lives by changing this mindset? I like to say, don't play God. Let him do the survivability profiling. You do the search profiling. Okay? You do what you're trained to do. And the no-go or go question is very simple to me. Can you occupy that space with your gear and your training? And if the answer is yes, then it's a go. If you cannot occupy that space with your gear and your training, then it's a no-go. All right, when we just rely on survivability profiling, what that is actually doing is just basing that off of people's experience or lack of experience. Okay? What about this one? Again, words matter. Fully involved versus heavy fire showing. Can we save more lives by watching our words? This simple term, fully involved, I believe when I hear it, it diverts our attention away from putting them first, from the priority of searching for searchable space. And we start applying defensive type tactics. But have we made it around the rear? Do we know if there's one room off the rear? I will tell you that in both these fires, they're reported as fully involved. Words matter. Is it heavy fire showing or is it fully involved? Searchable space in both of those houses. So your words matter. They set the tone. They set the expectations. How about this? Reports that everyone is out. Are you sure about that? This is another one of those that I actually can't stand to hear. We pull out, my crew gets off the rig, somebody comes up to me, says everybody is out. Good, keep it to yourself. Doesn't do anybody any good. Diverts attention, slows stuff down. Okay? Statistics tell us that people go back in. And under stress, people can't make those decisions. They may not know that their own kid is home, or that they left somebody inside, or that somebody went back in for the pet, or to try to put the fire out, or for a loved one. So why don't we just put them first and have our tactics represent that? Meaning, we're going to go in and do what we do regardless of what somebody tells us in the street and treat it as if it's occupied until we prove otherwise. Why do I even need to announce that everybody is out until we've proved otherwise? Think about that. All right. Vacant lives matter. A lot of stuff going on lately. 5 dead people in Fresno last week in a vacant. Okay, again, words matter. 50 deaths per year, 141 injuries. So I ask you this. If we replaced vacant or abandoned in our size ups, maybe with, instead of vacant and abandoned private dwelling, we've got a 1-story PD, appears to be boarded up. And again, our tactics put them first, and we treated it as occupied until we prove otherwise. Could we save more lives? Why don't we just operate under the premise that it's boarded up, which is good information for us to know, just like window bars, it's no different, access, egress. All right. Lastly, me. Me comes last for a reason. Our job is inherently dangerous, and there's been references all morning to it. But my thing is it as dangerous or as glamorized or dramatized as we make it out to believe for ourselves, or what even the civilians and the public think it is? Is it truly that dangerous with over 1 million fires happening every year and the number of injuries and deaths related to that? It's worth the risk. Don't believe the lies. You've got to get down into the reports. Look at the studies. Those numbers aren't lying, and they're telling a different story. 10 line of duty deaths with proper PPE involved in primary searches in a 5-year period from 2010 to 2015. Now here's one. 0 in abandoned and vacant structures. So then why are we so scared? Why are we not going in and searching these? Because we're killing firefighters in them? Who's telling you that? Don't believe it. How about this? 0 performing VES. I referenced a quote from Bob Pressler earlier, retired FDNY, caught the end of the war years, and spoke to him extensively about VES. VES has been happening since the fire service began. And in his time frame from the 70s till now, and he's still out there prominently teaching across the country and volunteering, very active, he has not encountered not one, 0 in that entire time frame, not one death attributed to VES. So then again, I ask, why is that so big and scary? Let's be honest with ourselves. Here's a picture of me graduating Proby School back in New York, FDNY, right after swearing in with my drill instructor, Joe Higgins. I'm going to go ahead and say it, probably one of the baddest motherfuckers I know. His brother was killed on September 11th, and he would come to Proby School and was our drill instructor, and he would spend every single day with us, training with us, drilling with us, instilling in us the passion, the firemanship, the importance of it, the brotherhood. Meanwhile, he would leave training and go dig for his brother, Timmy Higgins, every single night, all night long. Okay? I remember very vividly swearing in and taking that oath. Do you? Don't forget why you took that oath. Okay? It's about them. It always has been, and it always will be. And so hopefully today, what you're getting out of this is the principles and the idea that I hope that you will not neglect one of the 3 M's, which is the mission, them, and me, as you move forward in your careers. I want to finish it here with the video. Hopefully it plays. That is, I think, the baddest video in all of the fire service.
Good evening. We arrived before the engine. We got fire blowing out of 2 windows on the 3rd floor, and the people in the street are screaming, there's 2 kids in there. We're about to get our ass kicked, and there's nothing we can do about it. It's 1976, and Lieutenant Tommy Anello leads the way as usual. He is simply the finest fire officer I have ever worked for. Besides having cast iron balls, he has a 6th sense that leads him to trap victims. We run up the stairs, we get to the 3rd floor, it's quiet, it's scary quiet. I put the tip of my Halligan in between the door and the jamb. Pat takes his axe out and he starts slamming into it. We spread the door from the jamb, we pop that door in just a couple of seconds. The only water we have is the 2.5 gallons in the extinguisher that Pat's carrying. And with what's waiting for us inside that apartment, that 2.5 gallons is a bad joke. We swing the door open and the smoke just comes right out. It fills the entire hall, turns the night into day. We drop down onto our bellies and we crawl in. We got to go in deep as fast as we can because we got no water. There's no engine company. So we got to get in and we got to do the search as quick as we can. We get in 3 rooms. We go in the door. There's a hallway to the right. It leads into the apartment. There's rooms off the hallway on the left-hand side. We push all the way back. Pat's knocking the fire back with this can till it starts sputtering and we run out of water 3 rooms in. As far as we can go. The fire owns the apartment in the back. Lieutenant Anello turns into the furthest room. Pat grabs the second room, and I crawl back to opposite the doorway that we came in, and I start crawling in through the kitchen. Can't see nothing. I go down, straight down the middle till I hit the wall. It's quick, it's dirty. I figure if anybody's down, I'll run into them as I'm crawling through. Can't take the windows, because we can't feed this thing any more air. It's already rolling across the ceiling and down out the door behind us. This place is going to light up in a couple of seconds. I reach the far wall, turn around, come back, find nobody. Tommy screams, get out, it's going to light up. We get outside, we close the door behind us, the relative safety of the hallway. The engine's coming up the stairs. They charge their hose line. Tommy gives them the layout of the apartment where they got to go. It's time to go back in. We push the door open, the fire comes out, meets us in the hall. The engine just starts hitting it, they're pushing it back in. As they go in, we're right behind them. We can do a search now. We can do a better search because we got water protecting us. As they're pushing the fire down the hallway, the three of us go into the kitchen. I go right back to the window and I take the glass out with my tool. Right then, Tommy's sixth sense kicks in, and he looks in the cabinet, looks down at the cabinet under the sink, and he sees this little arm laid out. The two brothers, 5 and 3, who started the fire playing with matches while their mother went grocery shopping, are under the sink. The little guy's got his arms wrapped around his big brother, and that's how he died. His big brother tried to close the door to protect him from the fire, and he died trying to save his brother's life. Pat grabs one kid, I grab the other one. We run out of the apartment down to the floor below the fire, and we pass them off to other firemen. We're beat, we can't do nothing. The other firemen start doing CPR on him, and up the stairs comes Mom, a bag of groceries under each arm. She sees the dead kids laying on the floor, and the firemen try to breathe life back into them. She drops the bag and says, "Oh, my babies!" I got right in the face and I said, "You didn't give a about your babies when you left them alone, did you?" Why did I do that? I must have been angry at myself for crawling less than a foot away from these kids and not finding them. But I took it out on her. I don't regret much in my life. I really don't. Regrets are useless. But if I could change one thing in my life, I would put my arms around that woman and comfort her on what had to be the worst day of her life. Thank you.
All right, that's all I got. Thank you for your time.